I'm here with Sall Grover, and I just saw you speak at the House of Lords recently. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening for you in Australia and your campaign, if you would.
Sure, thank you. So I created an online platform for women in 2018, 2019, 2020 called Giggle. I was then went under attack, cancel culture, all of that sort of stuff, because men are claiming to be women. And if you say that, well, that's nonsense, they're not, all hell breaks loose. So I stood my ground with it, and we treaded water as a company going, this will blow over because it's such nonsense. It didn't. I got an Australian Human Rights Commission complaint in 2022 for gender identity discrimination. The man, and he's a man, but he claims to be a woman, who filed it as someone called Roxy Tickle, hence the case being Giggle v Tickle, the stupidest court case in the world, name in the world, but it is actually in the world the first direct sex versus gender identity discrimination court case. So Australia, just so happens Australia got the first one, and so I stood my ground with it. We had the first round in federal court last year, and I lost because the judge ruled that sex is changeable. Obviously it isn't, but that's what his decision was. So we're currently in the appeal, and we will have to go all the way to the High Court to change the law, because in 2013, Julia Gillard's government put Gender Identity in the Sex Discrimination Act and muddled it. Yeah.
And it has quite immense ramifications, not just in Australia, but internationally as well, doesn't it?
It does, for any common law country, but also any country that is a signatory of CEDAW, of which there's I think it's 187, including the UK. CEDAW is the UN's Convention of Elimination of Discrimination Against Women and Girls. It is a sex-based document. It's actually a wonderful document. The Australian judicial system is currently interpreting that as including gender identity. They're wrong. They're just straight up wrong. So we're fighting against it, and we're defending CEDAW and creating, precedents in case law. When you have novel law like this gender identity nonsense, all the different jurisdictions look to each other, and everyone's going to get the laws back on track. So yeah, we're all it's an international community in that respect.
And in many ways, there's lots of different people that have come together, for want of a better word, around this issue, and have had very different backgrounds and from very different perspectives, as we're seeing here, I think, and as we found it together. What do you see in terms of the free speech issues and people with different views sort of addressing this particular issue of sex-based rights?
I think free speech is the most important right in the world, because it's the one that protects all of the other ones, because you're able to talk about it. So, for example, in Australia, the new laws that have just been passed, we're getting hate speech laws with mandatory 1-year prison sentences. Am I going to go to prison for saying that a man's a man and not a woman? I don't know. Someone's going to have to test this, and it's very, very scary. So without freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of association, we have nothing. These are it's the bedrock of a civilized liberal society, and it's being stolen from us. Under the guise of be kind and progressiveness, but it's anything but. They're weaponizing our empathy to take away our rights.
That was brilliantly put. I just want to ask, you did a platform, you wanted to do something as an app, and you've been thrust into this world. It's tough, right? But it was a bit like we've just been in a session, and I think it was John Anderson who was saying, people should step up. It's tricky though, isn't it? But how would you see that? What's your thought on that, on people stepping up about these kinds of issues?
I think that if you can, or if you want to, you should. I think there's actually a moral obligation at this point too. It's that important. From my perspective, for what I'm doing, it is really rare in life that you're 100% right. Sometimes our opinions might be wrong, but I'm dealing in facts. Men are not women in any way, shape or form. So I actually have the confidence of knowing I am 100% right about this. And some things, if the state is trying to make you believe a lie and accept a lie, they'll make you believe anything. It's so dangerous. You can't accept that. So sometimes you just have to stand up, and the situation calls you, and you do.